kill in like 0.07 seconds, but yeah, this PDW is still amazing. It's ranked 0, so just buy the conversion. One of the best guns in the entire game to pre-buy a conversion for early game. Yeah, if you want to go crazy as a low-ranked player, get this conversion on this gun. Alright, so hello gamers and welcome back to another video. So Phantom Forces is full of amazing guns in every category of weapons, but there are some that really stand out. And in my last top 5 video, I cover the assault rifle, so go watch that one if you have not. And today I'll be covering the top 5 PDWs or SMGs in Phantom Forces. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and 1,000 likes and I'll make another one of these videos on a different category, so let me know which one I should do next. So first off, we have the number 5 spot, which is actually the lowest ranked PDW in the game, the MP5K, specifically with the 10mm conversion. Now the default gun is pretty good, 4 to a 6 shot, which is not that great. The damage is overall pretty decent, but the MP5K has really high fire rate and really low recoil for such a high rate of fire, as well as a fast reload time of 2 seconds. And also the walk speed is amazing as well at 15, which is only 1 less walk speed than most melees in the game. I'm talking like almost as fast as just carrying a knife, which is super great. A lot of those statistics are true with the 10mm conversion, except of course the recoil and the damage. With the 10mm conversion, you get basically a 3-hit kill in close range, which at 900 RPM is really good. It used to be able to 2-shot kill head, which as you could probably imagine was extremely broken, and basically made this and the Colt SMG the 2 best PDWs in the game by a long shot. But yeah, basically with this you get a 3 to a 6 instead of a 4 to a 6, which allows you to way more easily get kills up close. The only disadvantage is of course the recoil is a little bit worse. You also get a little bit better range as well, so you get a great 3-hit kill range, about 50 studs or so, 35 instead of 30 damage, so a full 5 more damage, a little bit more damage over long range for your trouble. So essentially this is a direct damage upgrade and recoil increase. That's basically what you get from this conversion. As you could probably expect, if you're fine with the recoil increase, it's amazing. And the recoil increase is big because the gun is such a laser beam, but you got to keep in mind, like, laser beam to a little bit of recoil is really not too bad for what you're getting, which is basically like 33% faster time to kill, because yeah, it's going to be a 3-hit kill, 900 RPM. This gun is amazing, really heavily recommended, even though it's been nerfed pretty hard. You know, it used to be able to 3-hit kill a lot farther and 2-shot kill a headshot. You could kill in like 0.07 seconds, but yeah, this PDW is still amazing. It's ranked 0, so just buy the conversion. One of the best guns in the entire game to pre-buy a conversion for early game. Yeah, if you want to go crazy as a low-ranked player, get this conversion on this gun, because you don't really need too much. You need like a delta sight on this gun, maybe like a compensator and an alright grip, angled grip or something, so maybe like 100 kills on the gun. Also pre-buy the conversion and you're good, because I really wouldn't recommend farming kills to get the conversion. Just buy the conversion. It's amazing. The default gun is good, but not this good, you know? Our next gun is actually a new gun. It's not the BWC, which is a fine gun. It's going to be going to the new 5.0. Now in the main game, I haven't actually used this just yet, but in the test place, I probably got like 300 kills before it came out, because yeah, this gun is amazing. It's super loud now, but basically if you run full auto conversion and the default ammo, you get a 15-round 2-hit kill body and 1-shot kill headshot 600 RPM gun. Essentially AK RPM, but it can 1-shot, which makes it, as you could probably expect, extremely broken. I'm gonna put an ARS suppressor on it and see if it's a little bit better, because I know they changed the sound effect and it is weird now. Let me hear this. That's cool. It has a bit of recoil to it, especially without the full auto conversion, but essentially the full auto conversion lowers your RPM but gives you automatic and basically lower recoil as well. So what is the advantage of using the burst conversion by default? Well, you get higher RPM, and that's kind of about it, and I don't really recommend that too much. That's why people don't really use the burst conversion on this. It is cool if you can get the burst delay down, which basically it doesn't really have a lot of burst delay to it at all, which is cool because you can get 650 RPM and a 1-shot instead of 600, but like most people don't really care about that, myself included. But with full auto, this gun is amazing because yeah, you can kill in 0.00 seconds because it can 1-shot kill, and I'm not super great with it right now, and you know, but it's an amazing gun. One of the best PDWs in the game, one of the best overall high damage guns in the game. Also for any 50 cal gun, 50 BMG, 50 GI, definitely going to be the best. XIX is also really good. M107, Hikate, BFG, those guns are all pretty good to very good, but I'm not gonna lie, dude. I mean, this is going to be kind of hard to compare a pistol, you know, 3 sniper rifles, a few other pistols and secondaries, and then this, because this is, you know, an SMG. But if I had to rank all the 50 cals, this would be number 1 by far. If you could tell right now by the amount of damage I'm dishing out on these guys, I'm dishing them a massive plate of macaroni to their skull at like 1500 studs per second or whatever. I mean, it's not a very fast bullet, but this thing packs quite a punch, you know? 49 to the limbs, about like 56 to the torso, and of course 100 to the head. I was really surprised when this gun did not really get a nerf. When it first came out in the test place, I was like, holy, this thing will get nerfed into the ground, but it did not at all. This gun is just a monster. It's a bit different from your average PDW for sure, but if you can get this thing down, it's probably the best automatic gun in the game at times. But there are some guns that I feel like have a little bit overall like general use capability. This thing does fall off to the body a little bit, doing 23 to the limbs at range. But yeah, this thing, I can't even say anything bad about it. It is amazing to use this gun. I highly recommend you pre-buy it. It's just hard to give it number one because like it's a little bit too different for a PDW. I would probably give it number one if you don't care about like a PDW experience, because it's just a little bit different from your average PDW. But yeah, but next up we have the MP510, which is basically your all-around MP5 meets like an assault rifle meets the MP5K10. It has 800 RPM, does 35 to 24, has great range, good velocity for a PDW, good pen for a PDW, and the recoil is not bad at all. But this is a 3 to a 5 shot kill, and if you hit one headshot, it's going to be a 4-hit kill all ranges. Great reload speed, great recoil, great damage, great range, great velocity and penetration for a PDW. It is just so overall great at everything. Is it going to be the best like fast TTK PDW in the game? Definitely not, but it's going to be up there. 3-hit kill body with 800 RPM is not bad at all, but what this really has to it, wow, you were dead, it's just the fact that it has everything overall great and the damage is good. It's kind of like an MP5, but if you want actual damage, the MP5 is good. It does 34 to 19. So it's going to be a 3 to a 6 hit, but it's actually more like a 4 to a 6 hit just because the range isn't very good. It's about 20 studs max. This has a 70 stud max, so it's going to have like, you know, 3.5 or so times the 3-hit kill range because it also does 35 instead of 34. So it loses its 3-hit kill a little bit later than its actual max range. Does it stack up to something like the 5.0 when it comes to overall TTK? No, of course not. But does it stack up in terms of range, in terms of usefulness for medium to long ranges, in terms of recoil control, velocity, overall usefulness at range? Yeah, the 5.0 just gets destroyed by this when it comes to any kind of medium range, long range fights. And that doesn't really matter because of course the 5.0 is good for CQC and that's what a PDW is for, but also this gun is really good for CQC as well. It doesn't really have any kind of major drawbacks to being used. It's got recoil, but the recoil, especially with a decent set of attachments, is not bad at all. The only attachments that are making a difference here is ARS and stubby. Tri-laser and Mars are kind of helping a little bit, but if you wanted that much better recoil, you could run like something like, of course, a compensator. I'm not running that. I'm running an ARS suppressor, which is 10% better camera recoil. I could be running a compensator and getting 40% better horizontal camera recoil, and the vertical is not even that big of a problem. So the fact that I'm actually not running basically the maximum recoil reduction setup, not even close, and it's still doing just fine, really tells you how good this gun is. It's just an amazing PDW. Overall, yeah, I gotta give it a little bit higher spot than the 5.0, but there's definitely a reason to use the 5.0 over this. There's a reason to use the 5.0 over every PDW in the entire game. Unless you count that semi-auto Uzi conversion, there's no other PDW that can one-shot. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what your opinions are on the 5.0. Love it or hate it, it is just going to be good at that one particular thing of being able to one-shot and two-shot. That's why it's so good. Should it be able to one-shot headshot? Honestly, I feel like it would still be great even if it didn't one-shot headshot, which is kinda crazy, you know? It has a pretty decent 2-hit kill range, pretty decent rate of fire, everything like that. But yeah, MP510 kinda edges it out for overall use. The 30-round mag is definitely also helpful. Like, you know, 14, 15 rounds isn't really that great for a PDW, but the fire rate makes it not terrible. And the reload time isn't amazing, especially if you're dumping mags on the 5.0. Wow, I'm surprised I didn't die fall damage there. But yeah, overall, that's just to say this gun is overall getting a higher spot on the list than the 5.0, but of course there is 100% a reason that you could give the 5.0 the number 1 spot. I'm on a 10 kill streak right now. I kind of don't want to end it, but I kind of got to end it because I want to go to the next gun on the list. But yeah, can I get through here? Ooh, yes. Now, number 2, we actually have the Chris Vector, and I was about to give this number 1, but I do feel like I have to give it to a different overall PDW in the game. The Chris Vector is going to be a 3 down to a 7-hit kill. You can run 9mm to get a 4 to a 7. That will give you better recoil if you really want it, and a larger magazine if you really need that too. But honestly, Vector default ammo is still one of the best PDWs in the entire game, but there is one gun that I would say is overall going to be a better overall weapon, and that's unfortunate. For me, the Vector is probably the best and most fun PDW in the game. It has 1,200 rate of fire, which is 400 more than the previous gun, but it also does 35, so it's also going to be a 3-hit kill. So yeah, this gun can absolutely destroy health bars, even the body. The 5.0 can also do that, but you gotta keep in mind, this is going to be a 3-hit kill at 1,200 RPM instead of a 2-hit kill at 600 RPM, so it's actually going to have the exact same TTK as the 5.0, but it's going to be able to spew bullets downrange, and it also has better recoil. So it is a little bit overall more usable for most players. better. Better in terms of just not falling off quite as hard. I do feel like the 5.0, you can't really blame it because it's a 50 cal PDW and they're for close range. It's kind of weird to make the argument that like, oh, well, it has better range, but that's kind of true, you know? A PDW you're supposed to use on CQC maps, but even on CQC maps, I would say this is more of a CQC map for this game 100%, but there are going to be plenty of times when having a little bit more versatility in your PDW is going to just be pretty helpful. And yeah, this gun has the versatility and it also has the TTK. And the recoil, yeah, it's pretty much non-existent. There you are. One of the biggest problems of this gun is, of course, the damage fall off is pretty bad. It does 16 over range now. It used to do 20, and then it went down to 18, then 17, and now 16. Because they've nerfed this gun a few times, but it's still really, really good. Where did you go? There you went. The reason it's not number one, of course, is just that there's a gun that's going to be overall more versatile than basically every other PDW in the game, and I'll explain in a second what that gun is, but yeah, the Vector is just great. I mean, every gun on this list, doesn't matter which one you're using, they all have advantages to being used. I recommend every single one 100%, but then we have number one. The number one PDW is the AUG A3 Para. The AUG A3 Para used to have way better velocity, but luckily they nerfed it because it used to have 2500, which is as much as 5.56 assault rifles. Like the AUG A1, the assault rifle, had the same velocity as the AUG A3 Para 9mm PDW. But yeah, this gun has a large magazine capacity, pretty good velocity and pen for a PDW, good capacity, damage, range, and of course the number one thing that you probably know because it's an AUG, recoil. It is non-existent. This gun used to be great, and then they actually gave it a buff. It used to have a 25 round capacity, and then they gave it an extended mag, and then they basically gave the extended mag for free and removed it. So it used to have 25 by default up to 32. Now it just has 32. That wasn't the real buff to it. The real buff, because everyone just used the extended mag because there was no downside to the extended mag for no reason. The real buff to the gun came when they buffed the recoil and the range of the gun. Now it has a 60 stud 3-hit kill range, which is almost as good as the MP510. It has about the same rate of fire as the MP510, a little bit less. And yeah, it falls off a little bit harder over range, but as you could probably tell, unlike the MP510, this gun has absolutely zero recoil. My setup is going to blow your mind. Like, you're probably like, what? This thing has no recoil, right? This is not even close. I'm running an ammo type that actually increases my recoil. If you want to see the real recoil of the gun, I'll run an actual recoil reduction setup. And this will actually blow your mind. That is the real recoil of the gun. It is non-existent. Most PDWs will not be able to compete with this recoil. It can 3-hit far. You can run whatever you want. I'm running a suppressor that actually has no effect on recoil and an ammo type that increases my recoil. And this gun is still that accurate. It can beam people from extremely far away. This is back with the quote-unquote high recoil setup that I'm running, because whatever setup you're running, it's not going to have that much recoil. If you run like the maximum recoil setup, it's still not even going to be that bad. It's kind of crazy. That's why this is the number one PDW in the game, is just because it's basically not even a PDW. It's basically just like an assault rifle that's good in CQC. It is just ridiculous. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, but I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Have a nice day.